So, I was reading some history books, and would you believe it? The good guys won every time. Hey kids, welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank, hoping that you are having a great day. In today's video, I wanted to take a seat, relax, and share a story with you all. You see, I've told this story a lot before to people in the area, so it never really occurred to me to share it with all of you, just because I had just kind of assumed everyone who knew me had already heard it. But then it occurred to me that the people who only know me from this YouTube channel probably haven't heard all my rambling stories. So, a bit of a backstory leading up to this one. For those of you who don't know, I used to run a physical LGS way back in the day. It wasn't the best, and I didn't do it for very long, only about a year. But I did have a lot of fun doing it, and I learned a lot doing it. And while I don't have too many amazing stories from that period of my life, I do have one that is just, it's not a long or complicated story, but it is very funny. And I do enjoy mentioning it when I have the chance. So, when you're a LGS that buys and sells singles, it's usually in your best interest to just buy whatever comes your way, as long as you can get it for a reasonable price. You know, if someone brings you a 2,000 bulk cards and they want $500 for it, well, obviously it's probably not a deal that's going to happen, you know. But if someone brings you a handful of singles that you like, you think you can sell them, and they're willing to take the price you are willing to pay for it, then yeah, usually you want to do those deals. So when I was a store, very rarely did someone bring me cards that I did not buy from them. Just because, in my opinion, I think it's always good to have that extra inventory coming in, especially if it's a nice card, you know. But I digress. So one day, I'm sitting in my store. It was a very dead day. It was just me and I think one other guy in the building. And a man comes in that I had never seen before. I did not recognize him. And he comes up to the counter and he asks, "Hey, are you buying vintage Magic cards?" And I say, "Yeah, of course. Obviously, I'm buying vintage Magic cards." And so he says, "Well, I got some cool stuff. I want you to take a look at it, but I just got one card in particular I want to sell." So he had a binder, but he also had a box. I did not end up looking through the binder because of what happened next. So he goes into the box first, and he pulls out a single card, and he puts it on the countertop, and he wants to know if I can buy this off of him. And what he puts onto the countertop is a volcanic island that appeared to be from Beta, which would make it a very old, very desirable Magic card. But there was a problem with it. The problem was it was foil. And for those of you who don't know, Alpha, Beta, Unlimited Magic cards were revised, anything really printed before Urza Block, I want to say. Definitely nothing printed before like 1998 or something. None of those early Magic sets came foil. So this guy places the card on the countertop, and he wants to know if I'll buy it. And for a split second, you know, I've got a bunch of thoughts going through my head, but for a split second I do consider it, just because for those of you who don't know, I love buying really trashy items. Just to use as an example, I picked up this D-Spell that a friend of mine had found, because it is a card that, in my opinion, should never be graded, and it's from a grading company advanced grading specialists that I've never heard of. When my friend showed me this card, it was $10. I was like, that's awful, and I need it in my collection. So I obviously picked it up. So I'm the kind of guy who sees absolute trash like this and buys it on a whim because I don't know, it's just the kind of thing I'm into. But while I was slightly tempted to ask what this guy was wanting to get for his foil volcanic island, from an obviously business perspective, I had to tell him, look, man, this is obviously a fake. I'm not buying it. And he was angry. He was fuming. You know, he was like, what do you mean it's fake? I pulled it myself back in the day. And I was like, look, man, you're young. This guy could not have been older than 19 at the time. You're young. So, like, I know that you probably didn't pull this from an actual beta pack. I don't know where this came from. I don't know where you got it, but it's obviously not a real card. Volcanic Islands do not come foil. The ABU stuff does not come foil. Nothing from back then comes foil. Crazy to think about, really. But I was like, yeah, no, I'm not buying this. And he packed up and left in a huff. I never saw him again, but, you know, the way he got so angry so quick, you know, maybe he did pull it from, like, some kind of fake pack a while back and thought he had some real money there on his hands, or, you know, maybe he was just upset that I caught on to a fake card so fast, instantly, really. But either way, he was, you know, he was angry, but I never saw him again. And there's really nothing else to this story. There's no lesson here, you know, aside from, I guess, if you're dealing with merchandise, be good enough at identifying that merchandise that you're able to see, like, a really obviously bad fake at a glance, like a foil volcanic island. But other than that, though, there's no real message to the story. It's just one that I wanted to share with you kids, because it's not one that I get to tell a lot, since, again, I feel like I've already mentioned it to everybody who will listen. But it is a good story from back in my LGS days. So let me know what you guys think. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, all that wonderful jazz. If you've ever had an experience with an obviously fake card, let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear about it. And of course, remember, Uncle Frank needs to get healthy. So for every like this video gets, I'll be doing a push-up in the next one. I'll see you kids then. My previous video got 16 likes. That's 16.